Family constellations, also known as systemic constellations, is an alternative therapeutic method that offers the consultant a different perspective of the root of his or her troubles and difficulties in life. One of the issues addressed within the framework of family constellations are the invisible loyalties. These are unconscious patterns we create in our mind and lead us to recreate experiences lived in the past by our parents and ancestors. To explain what invisible loyalties or hidden loyalties are, it is important to understand one of the underlying principles of systemic constellations, the need to belonging. Our first human need is to belong, and our first place of belonging is within our family system. This birthright and natural longing to belong is actually very archaic. It stems from our tribal mindset. If an offspring of the tribe is left behind or abandoned, it will die. It will either be captured by another tribe, devoured by the predator, or it will just die of starvation. So the desire to belong becomes a matter of surviving. This is why the need to belong is so important at an unconscious level. But what does it really mean in our everyday life? Let me give you a couple of examples. If my father and grandfather were lawyers or architects, I will probably have a calling for that same career. But maybe deep down, I am more into music or some kind of art. And I might claim in social gatherings that I'm a frustrated musician. But the longing to be faithful to my loved ones is bigger. So I will become a lawyer. Or maybe I was born in a family system where women used to push men away from their lives. Once they get pregnant or have the sons or daughters they wanted, they will exclude their men from their lives. And suddenly, there I am, getting divorced and raising 3 children by myself. The mandate or belief that is passed down the family line is, we can do it by ourselves, or men are useless, or men are not worth our while. And I will replicate this message in my own life, out of loyalty to these women of my lineage. Despite the pain I might feel from the personal experience of getting divorced and pushing my partner away, there's a sensation of ease. My actions make me like my ancestors, and therefore I belong. But not all hidden loyalties are limiting. Some of them can become our strength if we recognize them and if we know how to use them to our advantage. Let's suppose you're a painter who followed the steps of your grandfather, who was a carpenter. If you can tap into the joy and creativity felt by that ancestor, your own inspiration and fulfillment as a painter will be amplified. If you can connect to this grandfather's ability and abundance doing this craft, you will bring more of that abundance into your life. But let's go back to the invisible loyalties that can hold you back from living a fulfilling life. I want to share with you 3 ways that will allow you to step away from these conditioning mental patterns regarding your parents. They are taking charge of yourself, of your life and your happiness, honoring their life stories and agreeing to their destinies, and facing the consequences. Taking charge of yourself. This means to abandon the childish yearning of being acknowledged by your parents. We must feel so complete inside, so full of self-love, that we are comfortable being who we are, despite our parents' expectations. In many cases, it's the inner child, the one that didn't feel important to his parents, that didn't feel nourished by them. And it will become the adult who will still seek for their approval and appreciation. Taking charge of ourselves also means abandoning the desire to make our father or mother happy. Let's say the parents get divorced and the 5-year-old boy feels his mom's sadness. Even if the mother tells him, I'm fine, mommy's fine, we're gonna be okay, the boy doesn't go with what the mother says. He goes with how she feels. And out of love for her, he will project a subconscious message to her, Dad couldn't make you happy, But I will, Mom. The second way to step away from the invisible loyalties is by honoring your parents and saying yes to their destinies. If I feel pity or sorry for any of my parents, internally, I will address the message, I will suffer like you, in loyalty to his or her story, or I will take care of you, which doesn't really help anybody. On the contrary, if I accept their destiny, I can accept their stories, and therefore I can see their strength and their dignity. This is the only way I can face my own destiny, the only way I can look into my own direction. And 3, facing the consequences. Whenever we think, feel, or act in a way which is not in tune with the expectations or demands of our family members, we will feel guilty. The collective conscience, which serves the unity of the system throughout the feeling of belonging, will notice we have moved away from it, and it will believe the bond is at risk. As a result, we feel afraid. So guilt and fear are, within the scope of family constellations, a good indication that we are choosing ourselves before our parents. These feelings mean we are taking a step away from these family loyalties and we are taking charge of ourselves. But the decision must be done in full awareness, respect, and love to our parents, not out of any form of rejection towards them. Have you heard the saying, what resists, persists? So only when we include them in our hearts and accept who they are, we can move towards our own happiness. But the possibility of feeling guilty is not the only consequence you might have to face. The man who grew up trying to save his mother will probably have to face her criticism and disapproval. He will hear her victimize herself, and he will also probably have to face the judgment of his siblings. Are you ready to take full responsibility for your happiness? Are you ready to honor your parents and say yes to their destinies? Are you okay facing the consequences of your decision? If there is something that is holding you back from accomplishing these steps, we can work it out in a Family Constellation online session. If you want to find out more about this therapeutic process and how it works, please watch this video. My name is Catalina Lopez and I am a family constellation therapist. Don't hesitate to write your questions on the comment box below, and do subscribe to my channel so you can receive my upcoming videos. Hasta luego.